week. They say 18-year-old Kadarius Griffin was shot and killed while sitting in a car near North Lamar and Runberg. Now, U.S. Marshals say children were in the car with Griffin as well. Late last night, though, 21-year-old Warren Mitchell was arrested in Tulsa. Mitchell is now behind bars in Oklahoma with bonds set at $500,000.
A day after the stabbing death of a St. Gabriel police captain, the investigative unit uncovered a bombshell about what led to the killing.
Boutte lost his direction through the relationship with this man. It clouded his judgment.
Sheriff Brett Stassi says he had gotten a tip about this weeks ago.
And that would be our jurisdiction.
And actually asked the Attorney General's office to investigate Boutte just 10 days before he was killed.
There's nothing that you can compare this crime to any other that I can remember in recent years.
Each his own, but let's be real, fam. Some relationships are toxic, and some are dangerous, and some are criminal. In the small town of St. Gabriel, Louisiana, a disturbing and tragic story has rocked the tight-knit community. A respected police captain, once trusted to serve and protect, became entangled in a dangerous, dysfunctional relationship with a known felon. What started as a secret affair has turned into corruption, addiction, and ultimately murder. And just 10 days before his shocking demise, who we'll later pay our respects to, serious concerns were raised. An investigator working a separate case approached the local district attorney, warning him to launch an investigation into the captain after multiple tips had surfaced. As far as the allegations, it was that the officer was supplying his boyfriend with illegal narcotics, both for personal use and to push in the streets. It was a relationship fueled by power, dependency, and criminal activity, unfolding right under the nose of local law enforcement. And in return, what seemed like an ordinary night in St. Gabriel, it all came to a bloody end. The police captain was later killed by the very man he tried to protect, caught between being loyal to his badge and to his relationship. Apparently he couldn't escape. Today, we'll unravel the details behind this scandalous case, the missed warnings, and how a small town built on trust is now questioning the very people sworn to keep them safe. But before we go over this one, I want you guys to remember, I don't give you no angle, I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna jump right to it. Today we're going to St. Gabriel, Louisiana, a small city located about 15 miles south of Baton Rouge. It's known for its rich history and close-knit community. One of its most noticeable landmarks is the St. Gabriel Catholic Church, which dates back to 1769 and is one of the oldest church buildings in the state. The town has a population of just a few thousand people and has traditionally been a quiet residential community. Growing up there was a woman who went by the name of Josie. She was a beloved 4th grade teacher at the former Fable J. Livingston Elementary School in New Iberia, Louisiana. There she had her son David Boutte, who ended up being a captain who served 12 years for the Gabriel Police Department. And over his career, he steadily rose through the ranks due to his experience and leadership skills. In 2025, he was referred to as Captain Devin Boutte, who was now 34 years old. But it seemed Captain Devin was also in a relationship with a man who was just 25 years old and also recently gotten away with murder just 4 years prior. His name is Warren Mitchell, and back in 2021, he was arrested for a murder that took place at a local McDonald's in Austin, Texas. According to police, Austin 911 received a call about a shooting near McDonald's on North Lamar Boulevard shortly before 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday, April 14, 2021. When officers arrived, they found the gray-colored sedan that appeared to have crashed into other vehicles that were parked in a parking lot. The victim was identified as Kadarius Griffin. He was laying on the ground, just 18 years old, with a gunshot wound to the head. May he rest in peace. A love of condolences to his family. The sad part about this, Kadarius had his pregnant girlfriend, 2-year-old daughter, teenage sister, and 2 teenage cousins inside the vehicle when he had a gunshot wound to the head. Thank God nothing happened to them and traumatized for the rest of their lives.
Everybody ready?
Yeah.
All right, I'm Officer Michael, M-I-C-H-A-E-L, last name Bullock, B-U-L-L-O-C-K, with the Austin Police Department Public Information Office. Today at approximately 7:24 p.m., officers responded to a shoot-staff hotshot call here on the 9400 block of North Lamar Boulevard. call text indicated that a disturbance of some sort was likely occurring in the area, with shots being fired. As officers arrived on scene, they did locate one male victim who appeared to have been injured and immediately began rendering aid to that victim until Austin Travis County EMS and AFD was able to arrive on scene. Unfortunately, that male victim was later pronounced deceased here on scene. At this point in time, we don't know exactly how many people were involved in this disturbance or this incident. However, we are asking for the public's assistance for anyone that saw anything, heard anything, or has any video footage to please contact us either through our homicide tip line at 512-477-3588 or through Crime Stoppers at 512-472-TIPS. That's 512-472-8477. And please remember that Crime Stoppers offers a $1,000 reward for anyone who has information that could lead to an arrest in this incident. At this point in time, again, it is very early on in our investigation. However, we don't have any reason to believe there's an ongoing threat to the general public at this point in time.
Can you explain a little bit more about the damage to the silver vehicle that's inside the crime scene there?
Sure. So it does appear that a collision of some sort was involved in the incident.
Now, at the time, when the homicide investigators and the crime scene technicians arrived on the scene, police said the preliminary investigation shows that 3 men were involved in a disturbance with Griffin and several shots were fired. The suspects then left the scene in a red sedan. But the week after the incident, Friday, April 23, 2021, members of the U.S. Marshal, Northern Oklahoma Violent Crimes Task Force, had arrested Warren Mitchell III, as mentioned 21 years old at the time, at a hotel on the 8200 block of East Shelley Drive in Toulouse, in connection with the homicide. At the time, he had a $500,000 bond with the charge of second-degree murder.
The murder suspect is in custody across state lines. U.S. Marshals tracked down 21-year-old Warren Mitchell III in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and arrested him late last night. He's accused of shooting and killing 18-year-old Kadarius Griffin near the McDonald's off North Lamar Boulevard near Runberg Lane last week. A pregnant woman and several children were in the car with Griffin when the shooting happened, but they were not hurt. Austin police investigated Griffin's death, and a judge issued a warrant for Mitchell's arrest on Thursday. Right now, he's in a detention center in Tulsa with his bond set at $500,000. Last week, police said they were also looking for 2 other people connected to this shooting.
Warren was the first to get arrested, and he talked to them boys. And how I know? Well, in 2024, one of his co-defendants went to trial. Warren had testified, and it explained him going home less than a year. You see, on the last day of January of last year, a Travis County jury handed down a 23-year prison sentence to Cornelius Cooks after he was found guilty of 1 count of murder and 5 count of aggravated assault in the April 2021 shooting death of 18-year-old Kadarius Griffin. During the January trial, prosecutors said the altercation began in the McDonald's drive-thru lane, with Cooks, accompanied by Warren Mitchell, then 21 as we mentioned, while he confronted Griffin over money owed for marijuana. Prosecutors said Mitchell punched Griffin through the open window of his car. Griffin then drove around the McDonald's, while Cooks and Mitchell ran around the other side of the restaurant. The parties crossed paths again in the parking lot. Cooks then fired at Griffin's car from behind, striking only Griffin. Prosecutors said Cooks and Mitchell fled the scene and did not call 911. Now, Cooks' defense lawyer said that Griffin could have driven out of the parking lot, but instead made a choice to go back into a dangerous situation. He also said that Cook shot because he thought Mitchell was in danger of being hit by Griffin's car. Now, prosecutors disputed that in court, claiming that the car had already passed Mitchell when Cooks fired. Mitchell later testified. Police initially sought 3 suspects as mentioned, but after talking to Mitchell, they later confirmed that only Cooks and Mitchell was involved. Now, Mitchell was indicted June of 2021 for hindering the apprehension of prosecution of Cooks. He pled no contest and was sentenced to 118 days in jail. And because of that, he fled to a small town in Louisiana, as we just mentioned, St. Gabriel. And this time, he managed to be in a relationship with the police captain, who's identified as Captain Devin. But Mitchell's appearance seems to be a little different, now with dreads and even look a little darker. And after getting away with the situation that he started after punching someone over marijuana that led to him getting murdered by his friend, then telling on him, and now having a relationship with the police chief after running off to a small town in Louisiana, Warren Mitchell III, at 25 years old, will live his life like the law don't apply to him. And he did just that. Now, court records indicate that Mitchell was arrested on January 19, 2023 and charged with second-degree battery, and a bench warrant was issued for his arrest on April 30, 2025 after he missed court for a motion hearing. He was arrested on June 13, 2025 for robbery, and that's when it was discovered he had an outstanding bench warrant, according to records. On June 16, 2025, Mitchell posted a $27,000 bond using a bail bondsman. He was out for 20 days when he was arrested Sunday, July 6, accused of killing St. Gabriel Captain Devin Boutte. Captain Devin was found stabbed to death in his home on Legion Drive in St. Gabriel Sunday morning. May he rest in peace and love and condolences to his family. Mitchell was the guy who called 911 while leaving a knife inside the body of Captain.
After the stabbing death of a St. Gabriel police captain, the investigative unit uncovered a bombshell about what led to the killing.
The Iberville Parish Sheriff's Office confirms Captain Devin Boutte and the suspect Warren Mitchell were in a relationship that spun out of control for both of them. Best casualty with what she uncovered.
Michael, Sylvia, this explosive information comes from the sheriff's office, where investigators told me Boutte and Mitchell were already on their radar after several tips. On Sunday, news of 34-year-old police captain Devin Boutte's potential murder rocked the small community of St. Gabriel.
Devin was in love with the police department and the city of St. Gabriel. He loved this community, and they loved him.
Boutte's chief, Kevin Ambo, was the first person to find his body.
Hopefully I'll never have to witness something like that again.
He tells us it was Boutte's boyfriend, Warren Mitchell III, who alerted him.
I was notified by the assailant, sent an officer out. I came out and checked myself, and I ended up finding him succumbed to his injuries.
Mitchell confessed over the phone. The sheriff's office says Boutte was ambushed here in his home while he was sleeping. Mitchell allegedly stabbed him twice, once in the front and in the back. And investigators recovered that kitchen knife still inside Boutte when they arrived. What they also recovered inside the home that the police captain and Mitchell had been sharing, drugs. According to the sheriff's office, Boutte had been providing Mitchell with weed and meth to sell and use.
Seems to be that Boutte lost his direction through the relationship with this man. It clouded his judgment.
Sheriff Brett Stassi says he had gotten a tip about this weeks ago.
And it would be our jurisdiction.
And actually asked the Attorney General's office to investigate Boutte just 10 days before he was killed.
There's nothing that you can compare this crime to any other that I can remember in recent years.
The suspect, 25-year-old Warren Mitchell III, has a lengthy criminal past.
Drugs, robbery, even some indecent behavior with back when he was a juvenile.
And was even a suspect in a murder in Texas in 2021. In fact, he was out on bond for a robbery he allegedly committed last month when the stabbing happened.
We've talked to the people in the community.
Stassi says that robbery was a key point in the pair's increasingly toxic relationship.
He thought that he was trapped in this relationship and this was the only way out. He had attempted a couple times prior to get out of this relationship, and he couldn't seem to get away.
Meaning what exactly?
A few weeks ago, he did a robbery at a store, knowing that he would be arrested and brought to jail, and that in fact happened. He posted a $27,000 bond, and Captain Boutte went to the store and tried to repay the money and asked that they would come forward to drop charge.
Despite the term not being used officially, the situation between Boutte and Mitchell has all the red flags of domestic violence.
He used some coercion and to keep pressure on him that I went and paid the money back. I got you out of the mill place. I did this. Just some control tactics that he used to kind of control him.
Despite Stassi wanting them to hold Mitchell without bond, Judge Elizabeth Angolio set it at $500,000 this afternoon.
Now, some thought that piece by the local news was distasteful, bringing those allegations up, even though he lost his life and didn't get a chance to fight him. Nonetheless, we do want to say rest in peace to Captain and loving condolences to his family. We send 11 prayers to anyone who was affected by the story we just talked about. But there you have it, fam. That was the story of a young man in his mid-20s who managed to get away with murder at the age of 21, testifying, stepping into a new small town, and having a relationship with the captain. Allegedly, turns out, takes his life after a dispute. Leave the knife inside the captain and call 911. Let me know how you